All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to continue to learn through the Sefer Siach Sarfei Kodesh, which is Breslov history, information, and a lot of cool stories about Rebbe Nachman and his Hasidim and his life and very cool things. We are right now up to a chapter which gives us more information on Rebbe Nachman's famous journey to the land of Israel. The main information about Rebbe Nachman's journey to Eretz Yisroel is found at the end of the Sefer Shivchei Haran, which is usually printed together with Siach Haran in the book Rebbe Nachman's Wisdom in English from the Breslov Research Institute. It's in the back of the book. Actually, at the beginning, maybe I don't remember exactly, but it goes through Rebbe Nachman's whole journey, and it's obviously written in Hebrew and different Svarim, and there's a lot of information there, and it's a very, very awesome, amazing story with a lot of interesting moments and a lot of things that we learn about Rebbe Nachman. But there's some information that's not there, and there's more stories here about this journey inside the Sefer Siach Sarfei Kodesh. So we are going to learn this chapter, and we're going to probably do 2 or 3 videos on it. So when Rebbe Nachman, it says over here, I already just read this piece, but I had to restart the video, so I'm just going to read it without the Sefer. But it says that when Rebbe Nachman was planning already on the way to Israel, maybe traveling through different parts of Ukraine to get to Odessa, where he took a boat from. It says over here that there was one of the Breslov Chassidim who was somewhat rich, and he had somewhat of a good yichus, and he was a well respected person, and he was basically begging Rebbe Nachman to take him to Eretz Yisroel. And Rebbe Nachman said to him, "Okay, why do you want to come with me? Like, obviously you have a reason. Like, you should just go. Like, it doesn't have to do with me. If you want to go to Eretz Yisrael, just go, right?" And the guy said, "No, if you go, I'm going to go with you right away. Like, I'm ready to leave right now." And Rebbe Nachman said to him, "But why do you want to go?" He said, "Even Arabs go there, even non-Jews go there, even Christians go there. Whatever it is, I'm saying, but why do you want to go? What's the specific reason?" And the guy gave an answer, but it doesn't say what the answer is. And as he was talking to this guy, Rebbe Nachman turned to the world. He said, "This is not the way that you're supposed to go to Eretz Yisroel." He said, "When you want to go to Eretz Yisroel, it doesn't depend on, if you take me, I'm going to go with you right now." He said, "When you go to Eretz Yisroel, you have to just go. You have to just start walking, and you just have to go." He said, "That is what it says in this week's parsha." It's actually interesting that we're learning this, and it's a few days we're going to be reading Parshas Lech Lecha, that Hashem said to Avram, "Lech Lecha, just go to your land." And I mean, he said to go from your land to Israel, to the land of Israel, basically. And Rebbe Nachman says, "Like something you just have to go. It doesn't depend on me, obviously, but you just have to go by foot and go." Okay, now that's an interesting little part of the story. That's what we need to know about this story. That sometimes you just have to go and do things when you feel like you need to do something special and holy. Now, it says over here, a different piece I also was reading before I had to restart the video. It says over here that Rebbe Nachman, when he went to Eretz Yisroel, he took along with him a person, one of his chassidim, who was traveling with him, who was his attendant. And it's actually very interesting because in the main sefer where this is all written, in the back of Siach Sarfei, like I told you, in the back of Shivchei Haran, it just talks about this person. It doesn't give his name. It doesn't talk about who he is. It just says the person who was with Rebbe Nachman, and that's how they refer to him the whole entire time throughout the whole entire book. And here in Siach Sarfei Kodesh, it actually gives us the identity of the person, and this person was Rabbi Yitzchak, the brother of Rabbi Chaikel Chazan Rabbeinu. Why is it called Rabbi Chaikel? Oh, Chazan, like he was the Chazan of Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Chaikel was one of his first Chassidim, and the person who traveled with him was Rabbi Chaikel's brother, Rabbi Yitzchak. Okay, and this information is passed down from previous Breslov Chassidim who were medaktik, who were very exact with the history of every little thing, and this is what it is, and that's what we believe. That is what it says over here in the footnote from Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Bender. And it says over here, now we can continue from where I left off. It says over here, but at the beginning of the journey, it was actually a different person who was supposed to go with him, and not this guy, Rabbi Yitzchak. But this did not happen. Why did it not happen? Because before the journey, this guy came over to Rebbe Nachman, and he was proudly saying to the Rebbe, he said, "Rebbe, I bought beautiful apples for our journey." Right? And Rebbe Nachman said, if you're thinking about beautiful apples, then you can't travel with me, right? Because our journey is going to be full of Mesiras Nefesh Mamish to basically get to Israel, and we're not going to be able to deal with beautiful apples. So this guy did not end up going, this beautiful apple guy, and instead Rabbi Nachman took this guy, Rabbi Yitzchak, the brother of Rabbi Chaikel. Okay. So when Rabbi Nachman went to Eretz Yisroel, at the beginning of the journey from his house, he traveled to the city of Skila, which is actually now called where is it? Hold on one second. I don't know what the name of the city is called nowadays, called Voshnechniks, whatever. He went to a city and he did Shabbos over there. And there's a whole entire story over here that the Breslov Chassidim know how Rabbi Nachman saw then in his Ruach HaKodesh that this place where Rabbi Nachman is going to be doing Shabbos right now is one day going to be a very, very great big city. And happened to be that after Rabbi Nachman passed away, it did become a very, very big city. And in that city, that Shabbos, he saw the tzaddik, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, who was already not alive anymore, who is buried in Tveria, and he died in Tveria, and he just came to Rabbi Nachman, whatever that means, and he revealed a certain Kabbalistic name, which is the name Ata, that this is a good name to say when you're traveling on the sea. This information is in the Sefer Paparos L'Chachma Siman Reish Nun Vav. Okay? Oh, and this was 10 years after the Vitebsker passed away. So Rabbi Nachman saw him and spoke to him 10 years after he died. Okay? That's pretty wild stuff. Okay, now from this city of Sakila, he went to the city of Nikolaev, and there was a boat that carried wheat there, a small boat. And Rabbi Nachman went on this boat, I guess on a river, Derech Khorsan and Odessa, Le'ir, Istanbul. He took this boat from there to the city of Istanbul, to Turkey. Right? On Shavuos, Rabbi Nachman was in Khorsan, and I don't know if it was all the same boat, but then he went from there on a different boat to the city of Odessa, and from there to Istanbul. Right? And you should know that before Rabbi Nachman went on this journey and went from the city of Odessa to Eretz Yisroel, nobody traveled this way from Odessa to Eretz Yisroel because they were scared to go this way. And he was the first one who started going this way. Right? Because all these people who would travel before were scared to go this way because they said that the sea is very dangerous. Right? But Rabbi Nachman understood in his great chachma that it's better to go this way from Odessa, and he didn't care about what the world said, don't go this way, and he went from Nikolaev to there to Istanbul. Okay? And when Rabbi Nachman left from Odessa, nowadays called obviously Odessa, many people escorted Rabbi Nachman with great honor, and there was a lot of wagons, and they took him all the way to the boat. Right? And when they got on the boat, and they were already sitting on the boat, right? Before they started going on the Black Sea, right? The sea that is in between Odessa and Istanbul is called the Black Sea. Right? Okay? And then, so Rabbi Nachman was already on the boat, and then it became known to a different tzaddik, a different meforsam, a different gadol who happened to be in Odessa at that time, that Rabbi Nachman was on this boat, right? So this guy, this tzaddik, went straight to the port where Rebbe Nachman was, and he waved to Rabbeinu. And he waved to Rabbeinu, I guess, through the window, like, whatever, showing him respect a little bit. And Rabbeinu said, and Rebbe Nachman said to the person who was with him about this meforsam, he said, Ich weiß, meaning I know. I don't know what that means. I know. Maybe he knew something bad about him, because Rabbeinu did not hold of meforsabim. Rebbe Nachman was not big into these gedolim. And there's a whole other story about this, that one other time this guy came to the house of Rabbeinu to spoke to him, and maybe this was the guy who Rebbe Nachman put down heavily one time. So we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, during the journey to Eretz Yisroel, Rabbeinu called himself by the name of Isaac. This is the story when Rebbe Nachman was on the way to Eretz Yisroel. If you didn't learn the whole entire other book with the whole journey written in it, but there was two guys. When Rebbe Nachman was on the way to Eretz Yisroel, he didn't tell people that he was Rebbe Nachman. People knew about Rebbe Nachman, but he didn't tell people that he was Rebbe Nachman. And there was two guys who were trying to figure out who he was, and Rebbe Nachman was playing a lot of tricks on them and tricking them and doing things. This is all deep avodas, and they thought that he was the son of the Kamarna Rebbe. And at one point he called himself Isaac, and at a different point he called himself Yeshaya. It was a whole thing. You have to read up on it. But anyway, and Rebbe Nachman said over here, he said, "Why do I call myself Isaac?" And he didn't finish. He didn't say why, right? One time when they asked Rav Nassan, somebody asked, this is later on obviously, a different time, it's just saying information, so that one time somebody asked Rebbe Nachman of Breslov if he should call his son, if he should name his son Nachman after Rebbe Nachman, or a different person in his family who has the name Isaac. And Rav Nassan said to him that you could call his son Isaac because Rabbeinu called himself Isaac. So if your wife doesn't like the name Nachman, you could call your child Isaac, if that's what your type of thing that you want to do. Okay. Let's do one more story over here. It says, right, in Shivchei Haran, right, in the main story of the journey, right, it says over here, it said that when Rebbe Nachman was in Istanbul, Turkey, whatever, he was doing all these types of childish behavior. And also it says over here that he went to the Tzion of Kodesh of Rabbi Naftali Katz, the Baal Smichas Chacham. Right? He was a big tzaddik who died on the way, I think, to Eretz Yisroel. He died in Istanbul, and Rebbe Nachman went to his kever. I think people still go to his kever today. Right? And then afterwards he fell greatly ill, and he thought that he would pass away there. Right? And Rabbeinu said that when he was doing his shtatchus, and when he was by the cave of Rabbi Naftali Katz told Rabbeinu that it would be nice if you passed away over here and we could, you could be buried next to me. And Rabbi Nachman was very scared about this, but Hashem had mercy, and he did nisim with him, and he stayed alive, and he went through everything. And that is where we are going to finish today. So that's a lot of cool information about Rebbe Nachman's journey to Eretz Yisroel.